All right, guys, the next movement that we're going to talk about for the open series is the handstand push-up. So one of the things that you have to take into account with the handstand push-up is going to be the open standard. So a little bit different from maybe the standard that you would do in class. The open standard requires a line on the wall, and then your heels have to cross that line with every rep. The measurement or the standard for that, feet or toes completely up against the wall, feet under the hip, arms fully extended, and then they measure about 3 inches from the base of the wrist. So with that being said, 2 things to think about with that open standard. One is staying closer to the wall. So when you're closer to the wall, it's going to help you keep your heels above that line for your reps. The further away that you get from the wall, the harder it's going to be to maintain that. The other is thinking about hand placement. So the wider your hands are, the harder it's going to be to keep your heels above that line. So making sure that you're keeping your hands in the same place every time. So that's kind of just more a look at the standard. What we want to talk about now is the 2 different types, and then I'll also introduce a third, but the 2 different types of kipping handstand push-ups. So the first one, just like in our toes to bar series, there's one that's going to be more for efficiency, and there's going to be one that's going to be a little bit more for speed. So we're going to have Ricky come in and demo for handstand push-ups. So we're going to take a look at our kipping handstand push-up for efficiency. So start at the top, fully locked out. Okay, he's going to lower head to the ground. He's going to pull his knees out towards his elbow. Notice that lower back stays on the wall. Okay, here he's really loading the hips. Okay, you can see that he's pretty much has a complete closed hip, and then from here he's going to drive through his hands, extend the hips into lockout. Good. One more time. Big load. Good. And the next one that we're going to go is going to be for speed. So this is what we call kind of like a kipping frog. So notice that he just doesn't close the hip all the way. Good. One more from the knees, and it's a quick extension of the knees into lockout. So the difference between that, so if you have a higher volume, longer workout, then you might want to look at moving into a the more efficient one, which is going to allow more loading of the hip. So you get to use more hips, less arms, to hopefully keep you guys from hitting that burnout or fatigue. The other one is going to be more for speed. So faster workouts, shorter workouts, or shorter volume sets, or not volume, but shorter sets of work on the handstand push-ups. Not loading the hip as much. A lot of the power more comes from a quick knee extension, requires a little bit more upper body. So once you can combine the 2 in a workout. So if you have a workout, short sets, if you start to get fatigued, start to hit that wall, then you can start to load the hip, use a little bit more power from the hips, and give your upper body a little bit more of a rest. So 2 different types, one for efficiency, one for speed. Third is kind of a little hybrid in between the 2. And so I'll have Ricky come in and demo that one. So this one, we're going to lower the knees. So when he lowers his head, he's going to start to go ahead and bring his knees out and then go. Good. One more time. Good. So notice he's kind of combining the 2 movements versus the slower of head then knees. So slow down a little bit. One more time. Right back up. Good. So go first one's head down, and then he loads versus bringing them at the same time. So it's a little bit slower on this one. Takes time. Load the hip. When you get comfortable with that, you can start to move, good, a little bit faster into a hybrid where you start to bring the feet down before. So when you get to the bottom, your hips are already loaded, knees are already out towards the elbows, and then from there you just go. You don't have to wait for the feet to come down once you get to the bottom of the handstand push-up. So that, guys, efficiency, speed. Don't forget about the open standard. Make sure you're practicing that, as well as maybe practicing and playing around with that hybrid in between the efficiency and the speed.